So again, I'm not saying that the outward is all that you should do, but ladies, there is strategy, especially if you're. Let me be real now, right? If you're trying to catch a fish, right? If you're trying to catch a fish, what you just do on the put on the fishing rod? What you just put on the fishing rod? Talk to me. Right. So the head of the class people and bright people who like to answer quick, because I'm at the page. Come on, quick, quick, right? You just put bait on the line. Because if you throw the ugly, if you put a piece of rod in the fish in the if you put the plain rod down in the water, that fish gonna pass on stoops at that. That fish not interested in that. It have nothing on that plain old rod, right? That fish want to bite. So think about your men like a fish, right? You can't expect to catch the man with just a dry rod. Yeah, you gotta put some bait, ladies, right? I just being real. So when, especially in your courting days, and it's not that you're tricking the man, put your best foot forward now. If you're courting and you're anyhow, if you're courting and is whatever, snot hanging out your nose, you're smelling, when you're wearing your clothes always looking dirty, you're unkept, or it's just whatever, right? If you're trying to catch a fish, you had to do better than that. You had to do better than that. You had to try a little thing. You had to have strategy, right? And nothing is wrong with that. You might say, well, what you're encouraging? I'm trying to be real. You're looking for a man and you're looking for a type of man too. There's certain men who will not even glance at a particular type of woman based on how she carry herself, right? And it all depends on what you're looking for, what kind of man you want, right? Let's say an executive who own 3 companies, right? And driving a fancy car, the man already have his own home, right? The man, everything in his home is fine. And when you see him, he wearing suits and he have one nice snakeskin, well, snakeskin shoes. He wearing nice shoes. His hair always well groomed, right? And you want to go and track that man with your fast self. You cannot go with him in a bust-up slipper. Your toes, you have one nail polish on every other toe and it's peeling off, right? You have some men that see all that, your nail polish on your toe peeling off, right? It's about 3 different color and it's flaking and it's peeling off, right? You did not clean, your heel crack up. Your heel crack up, right? Your nails crack up. Your hair crack up, right? And you go in and track the man, this big executive who are accustomed to polish everything, a certain way. I just being real, and this is not a bad thing. It's just the practicality of life. He is not going to give you a second look unless somehow by some miracle or they end up talking and maybe get a connection. Yeah. But how life is, the Bible actually says that men look at the outward, but God looks at the heart, right? So when people look at you, they can't see your beautiful heart. Ladies, when a man looks at you, they are not seeing your beautiful heart. They don't have X-ray vision. They are not God. So they can't watch through the crack up heel and the rumple up hair and the yamp in your eye and see your heart. They're seeing somebody who's not looking put together. So there are certain men who will not even look your way if you present yourself a certain way. And so what I am saying, right? If you want to attract a certain type of man, you want a rich man. Everybody who's not married, do you want a rich man? You want a successful man? You want a man who already owns his house and car? Talk to me. Yes, sure, of course. Yeah, especially at a particular age. You in your 30s, you're not looking for no man, still struggling, looking for a job. And I mean, gosh, if it happened that way, it happened that way. But I mean, in the ideal world, you would, if you have things together, it's a little better, right? So let me say you want a man to have everything together, right? Wouldn't it be the fair thing for you to kind of get things in together to at least how you look, try to get that together? You know what I mean? So if you are trying to attract, it depends on the kind of fish you're looking to attract, right? If you're looking to attract wabbing, right, then it's whatever. It's whatever. It's a wabbing you're looking for. You just let it go, right? But what's an exotic fish? What's an exotic fish? I don't know. I'm not too are not too familiar with fish, somebody type was an salmon. Salmon. Right. Salmon. When I go price mart, I can't afford salmon. I can't afford salmon. So you trying to attract a salmon, right? You gotta try and look a little bit like a salmon too. Not so. That's not it. That's a fair thing to do, right? Now, ladies, don't mistake me, because people like to look for loopholes and everything you're saying. So I'm not saying go and expense yourself and try to be something that you're not. But I'm saying do the very best with what you have. Do the very best with what God has given you. At least you could be neat, you could be clean, you could be smelling good. Try to have a good personality and present yourself in a way that a man would be attracted to you. And nothing wrong with taking notes from Ruth. Find a way for him to see your good works. You have to have strategy. Find a way for the man to see your good works, like what Ruth did when she went out into the field, right? Even if by mistake, somehow work it out. You have to strategize, right? My husband always gives this story. It is partially true, ladies. He keeps giving this story. It is partially true. It is not totally true. When we now started to meet each other, now started to get to know each other in the very early in our friendship, I worked at BWIA in the airport. And a couple of times, it just so happened, pure coincidence, God is watching me, that when he used to travel nearly every other day in those states, right, to teach. He used to teach abroad. When he come back, well, sometimes what would happen when he's going out, now this we are friends, we just met. When he leaving the country, I would see him checking in. I may not really want to check him in, but I know he on his way out, and he might just wave from afar. So I know he on his way out, right? And what I used to do, because we live a street away from each other, literally like 2 streets away, right? What I used to do is check, not in the beginning, but when we started to actually become friends, I would check when I see him leave, or if he tell me leaving. If I am working on that day, I would check to see if he coming in on that flight. And I would stick around to drop him home, because he did not have a car. He didn't have a Sharana license, right? So I used to stick around the airport, and I could have gone anywhere. So I could actually walk right up to the plane, or I could go straight up to the, when they now come on the plane, right there by immigration, wherever, right? And I would meet him, and we will walk through together. I would be with him through customs. And he would go home with me. Now this is friends, right? And so he used to say, he would tell people this story now, like I was stalking him. It was true or not true. In the earlies, it used to be coincidence, right? I would say, hey, you come in today. And I would say, hey, well, I going home at so-and-so time. I'll drop you home. But then after a while, I used to look and see when he coming in and make myself there. And of course, I'm using my authority in the airport, and because I could go anywhere. I could even walk in the plane and walk out with him. I mean, I never used to go that far, right? But I'm saying all that to say, ladies, that nothing is wrong. If you are trying to catch a big fish, right? And I saw my husband as a big fish. And I saw him as a big fish then because of his qualities as a man of God. Trust me, he didn't have no money then. Trust me, he didn't have no money then. He was now working his way up. He didn't have his business yet or anything. He had 1 pants and 1 shoe, even though he used to be traveling. The company paid for him, right? Right? Anyway, I saw him as somebody that I wanted to keep in my life, and so I used strategy. Now, this is once the fish that you are trying to catch is a worthy one, because not everybody. Remember, again, if you remember the first session we had last week, sometimes you are not in a position to determine if a man is even good or bad, because you're in such a bad place that bad looking good and good looking bad. So I'm talking about once you're in that place where you can make a proper judgment, and you know that, hey, this man here is a good man. I can see this man blessing my life, and I bless in his life. Go for it. But you have to use strategy, but not only with your outward, because we know that will not failure after a while. Yeah? Can't keep that up forever. I think God actually designed that so, right?